What are you waiting for?
Come join the Geek Drums Nation. What's up, guys? Starting a few minutes early. Um, hope everybody's doing good today. I do have guests today. They will be introduced shortly. But so today, all I want to do is really, give my She-Hulk thoughts, my Stargirl thoughts, and then I want to have a little bit of fun. I want to talk about the two different Lex Luthors that we've had between the Arrowverse and the Smallville universe. Recently been rewatching Smallville, so kind of got hooked on, the differences between the two. So today we have DJ Eric, and he was late, but Three Dubs is here.
Hey, sorry.
Were you asleep?
No. I was doing something productive,
Understandable. So, chat, how are you doing today, chat? Oh, here goes my idol with the Lancelot stuff. So I already I asked Eric how he was doing. How are you doing today, Three Dubs?
Oh, I'm doing good. Just trying to, I kind of was getting over a cold. I was wondering if I was ever going to make it here. But luckily, I got over the cold, so,
Oh yeah, and it's that type of weather for it too. So
yeah.
So let's do the fun thing first. Yeah, have you seen Smallville, like majority of it?
Is
Three
that
Dubs.
trick question? Is that a trick question? I've seen it like 200 times. No joke.
Well, for me personally, I'd say that the key differences between the two different Lex Luthors were John Cryer. He was more, I would say he was sneaky with the stuff he was doing, but at the same time he didn't care.
Yeah,
But
it's psychopathic.
yeah, but Michael Rosenbaum was like a pathological liar, and he would still do what he needed to do to get the job done, if you get what I'm saying. It's like they were more or less the same, but they went about things differently at the same time.
It started with me for Michael Rosenbaum. It was more of a white lie as years goes on until it started to get a little longer, darker, and more evil as he progressed. He started to fully do the Lex around season 6.
Yeah. I was saying,
Once he stole Clark's girlfriend, that's when
yeah.
he started to become Lex.
Yeah, and like I said, even when he killed, everybody knows that scene. They he when he eventually kills his father, I was saying I don't think it would have taken John Cryer's Lex that long to do it. Like, I don't think he would have dealt with all the verbal abuse and stuff like that for that long. I think John Cryer's Lex was more unhinged at times. I mean,
Yeah.
the man gave himself cancer on purpose.
Yeah, John Cryer's Lex was like one wrong move, and he just went from good guy to bad guy. It didn't take him long.
What do you think, Eric?
I don't know. I obviously they're very different versions. I think every Lex we've had has been kind of different from each other. Like even the animated Lex was very different from the live action ones. But I like Michael Rosenbaum's Lex more because I feel like he was a more fleshed out character. John Cryer's Lex changed from season to season, and I don't think that he was given enough time to really be fully realized. I liked the first time we saw him in Supergirl, that first season that we had him. He was really, really good. And then as Supergirl started to go off the rails, they kind of let Lex go off the rails because I hated what they did to him with Nixley. I thought that was really bad.
That was.
Well, he was smart.
Yeah.
So.
I hated how they I get it. Michael Rosenbaum was I did the seasons that I wanted to do, But then when he wanted to come back, they killed him off, so they had to find a way to bring him back. And it was more along the lines of a clone who forgot all of that,
No,
all of
no,
that character development. So it
no.
was
That
like they
wasn't the
killed
clone.
it.
It wasn't the clone. He was like literally on the verge of death, and he used clone parts to heal himself.
Okay, yeah. But he still like
So
then he still like his memories went away. That was convenient on
that
Smallville.
was,
Like, everybody would
that
just
was,
lose their memory.
that's the only way for Superman to be Superman without the idea of his secret getting out, because
Yeah.
the fact that and it wasn't, he didn't just lose his memory. There was a substitute that was created in a lab that Tess Mercer rubbed on his face before she died. He doesn't even remember killing her.
Wow.
so, so it's
Huh.
it it's a bittersweet ending for him to and we find out later in the comics that he actually wrote down some stuff but not like everything, where he's like he saw Clark walking on the street and he's like, hey, we used to be friends, right?
Yeah, I've read some of the comics, but it's like it was just it takes you out of it because like introducing like Bruce Wayne, and then they had a I believe it was a female Robin as his first Robin. It's like, how would that like, I don't know how I would have felt if that would have happened on like in live action, like some of the things that they were able to achieve in the comics in that season 11. Like, was there ever supposed to be a season 11, or was that just something that they added on like comic wise just
It
to have
was
fun with?
like super. It was super popular back in the day that they were that they wanted to end the series with no fights, no tights, but they wanted to show you a glimpse of what he would look like going forward. So they made it Smallville season 11 in the comic form. And I stopped reading the comics. I only read the first episode because the second and onward they drew Clark differently. Like he didn't look like Tom Welling. So I was like kind of mad about that. So I stopped, and I didn't even know about Batman or Robin. I was kind of, as soon as they started drawing him different, I'm like, this isn't him.
Now, what do you think about this comment from Kazi? Thoughts on Jesse Eisenberg saying his portrayal? I don't think that there was if you're saying that he said it was a serious portrayal, I mean, it could have been serious for him, but if
It
we're being
was
completely
serious.
honest, that was not Lex.
That was not Lex. That was like a Joker version of Lex.
Like a Riddler. Your thoughts, Eric? That was not no.
I don't really know what he was trying to do, to be honest, with that character. I at one point was under the impression that he was portraying like Lex's son.
Yeah, I thought like, but then it's like, you're Lex Jr. Like, why wouldn't they just do the traditional Lionel Lex thing? Like,
Yeah, I didn't I understand like adaptations and reimagining. I get all that, but I thought it was a weird direction to take that universe's primary Lex, because it just didn't feel right. And then the shaving of the head also felt a little weird. Like it none of it worked for me,
yeah, like,
honestly.
cause didn't he do it in like he did it in prison? But it's like, did he do it because he wanted to, or was he forced to?
I kind of like the when how Lex like has like they hold on, they kind of like explained it in Smallville really well, which I really liked. How the meteor shower kind of
Yeah,
shook him, and that's why he never gets sick or dies, or he's more of a traditional villain. He can actually stand up to Superman because of the fact that he was in a meteor shower. But he's still human. But like no meteor powers, just like he doesn't get sick. So or
Yeah, I thought that was cool too. It's like now that you brought that up, like I was wondering like how did he survive? Like like one episode he got shot twice, and then the next episode he got shot again. I'm
yeah,
like, how do you keep surviving all of that if you weren't altered by the kryptonite? He was
he
just altered in a different way than like the
yeah
traditional metas.
he explained that he used to have asthma, and after the meteor shower, he never took it again. And but I think John Cryer's was naturally like he it was a gene that made him bald, like
Yeah, most
John Cryer
likely.
himself. And Jesse Eisenberg was a choice, and I think well, I didn't like how he was portrayed when he just sounds like a jittering like he's like nuts like normally. There was no progression. He was just like he started talking like a psychopath. You know, you could tell he was off his rocker,
Yeah.
but like he was on some sort of drug because every time he would twitch when he was talking to the girl with the um, uh, she voiced the on the Incredibles Elastigirl.
Talking to the judge.
Yeah, the judge. Yeah.
Yeah. So Anthony Beltry says, any predictions on how the Flash ends? Um I don't I don't know, Anthony. That's a good question. Um I honestly like my ideal ending would be like, well, I've said it before. My ideal ending is a happy one, open ended. Like maybe we flash to the
Like
future or something. We see him with Bart and Nora running around. It's several comic panels where I always say how you just see the Flash family running. That's how ideally that's how I would like it to end. You see like Wally, Bart, Nora, Jay, maybe even if they go back to the whole what is her name?
Who are we talking about?
The she was just introduced.
uh,
Avery. If they
Mia.
introduce Avery, if they reintroduce Avery, maybe she's a speedster now. Somehow Eric Wallace is gonna figure out a way to make that happen. Um, I just want to see a happy ending, and we get like a great like cinematic shot of like all the speedsters just running, and it just has some like something corny on the end talking about some we're the Flash family and we're gonna keep running forever or something. Just something that's very hopeful. I don't want it to end with Barry dying. I'm not a fan of him dying and becoming the lightning bolt that hit him.
There's
I'm
a
not.
lot of people that want that, but I also think that would be a really stupid way to end it, unless they do a time jump and like put it somewhere in the future or something like that.
I don't have predictions, but I have like wants. Like for I don't want Barry to die like he did with Oliver, or like they did with Oliver. I don't want them to out his secret like they did
Yeah,
with Supergirl. I don't want them to do I want them to have an open ending like Smallville, you know, with he's going on to be a hero even though his show is ending. But I do not want um him to die. That you know.
hey Laura. Yeah, I don't want him to die. I don't want him to take his cowl off like he's so good at doing in front of the entire world and be like, yeah, my name's Barry Allen and I'm the Flash. I don't want that.
No.
I just want a happy ending for him. Something that we can possibly go back to, if you get what I mean. Like
Well,
just making it respectable to the character at the end of the
unlike
day.
Smallville, the Flash doesn't hold the candle to unless it's Flash season 1 and 2. They don't hold the candle to rewatches because of the fact that a lot of the drama is like so cringe ish. If you get one, like the for example, Thinker was like a terrible villain for me. uh, Around season 4 is when the show started to um, not become like Smallville, where you can't enjoy it. There's episodes that you're gonna hate. During season three was kind of like almost that way, but I kind of like the ending of season three. But I still like the show, but it's more like a 1 and 2 done a year. I can't binge watch it like I did Smallville.
Okay, hold on. Symbiote just had a very good. I get what you're saying, but I don't. I'm not saying I want to see them like the entire season. I'm saying like we just like just like we don't see them in a comic book all the time. I'm saying something like we see something like this comic book cover. We just see them all running as like a final shot, and then the last one you do see is Barry. I'm not saying I want to see them the entire season or anything like that because you wouldn't have the you wouldn't. That's a good question. You wouldn't have them just there all the time.
Yeah, the heroes always come together at the very end, and then they have a send off at the very last scene. They don't like help each other out throughout this entire thing because it's Barry show. Oh, I would like to focus on Barry, Barry only. You know, Flash, him fighting. I would
Yeah.
like to see him more actiony.
Yep. And if they do, if they did decide to, um, kill
Do
off Barry, that
yeah.
wouldn't surprise me because they like to contradict their own continuity anyway. And we saw the future in these canon Earth Prime comics. So
I would be totally pissed if Cobalt Blue is in fact the villain, and Barry Allen just goes up to him and says, "Let's shake in, bygones be bygones and whatnot." And that's it. I'm like,
hmm,
because
I will-
he literally sat down after a good fight. He
yeah.
sat down and did Zen like he's done fighting. I'm like, no, 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 you better not do that for season 9.
But I want to let Eric take this question because I don't I think Thawne's overdone.
I don't have any faith they can do Thawne right after last season. So I'm done. I'm good with Thawne being done, to be honest. Like, I did not like the way they wrapped up his storyline. I feel like it didn't make a lot of sense to me. I made that very obvious when I talked about time sickness and like what happened on Leanne Yu, and just all of that was just really weird. I didn't like the way they handled Matt Lesher's Thawne. I thought that was weird too. Um, Eric Wallace, in my opinion, doesn't do dark storylines very well. He also doesn't do light storylines, I guess. He says that he understands the character, but I question that because I think the problem is this is one of the issues I think Todd Helbing had with the Flash, around season 4 and 5, is the Flash kind of needs that seasons 1, 2, and 3 tone. It needs that tone to work.
Yeah.
The actors that were cast in these roles and some of the storylines, like for example, I'm trying to think of a good way to express here, like what I'm saying in terms of the Flash, like Legends of Tomorrow, right? So Legends of Tomorrow, the cast really fell into their golden era in seasons 2 and 3. I think that was the best 2 seasons of Legends of Tomorrow were seasons 2 and 3. I think that when they started going into like that crazy, like almost a satire of what the show was, they lost me. And I think the Flash kind of is in the same position where it's gone too far in one direction. I mean, if you look at like seasons 4, especially season 5, it went too far in certain directions, and I don't know if they can come back from that. I Armageddon gave me hope,
Yeah.
but that was like a rare thing. Like if they could have kept the tone for Armageddon all the way through the entire season, I would have been super, super happy with it. I probably would have had very little complaints. But, just looking at the way they handled Thawne at the end of the season, I want to see Harry come back as just Harry, not Wells-Abard.
Yeah.
I want to see Tom Cavanaugh come back as a version of Harrison Wells.
Timeless Wells?
Yeah.
Version.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be okay with that. The only Wells that I really did not like was HR. That's the only one that I didn't really like. But
I thought he was funny. I liked his comedy routine with HR being like completely dumb, but I didn't like the his like even Harry to from Earth 2 said, where are we? Some suicide pact, like oh, you can pick another Wells out of the multiverse to kill.
I think so. Somebody made a comment there. Kazi made a comment about Eric Wallace about good ideas. The problem is there are some people that have really good ideas, but they need someone that can execute those ideas, like to take those good ideas, because creative people aren't inherently good at directing their creative energy. Like for me, there's a lot of things that I'm good at, like editing down and making it work. But there's a lot of people in the creative spectrum who can't do that. They're very creative, but they just don't know how to make it, like to funnel it. And I think Eric Wallace has a lot of really good ideas that need to be, like, I don't know, quality checked, I guess is the best word. And there's nobody really quality checking his ideas, I don't think. So
What's up, gamer man? I agree. I don't think he has that at all. And that yeah, like what Kazi said, I completely agree.
Speaking of Armageddon, I kind of liked when Reverse Flash finally told Barry exactly when he met him, which is 2 centuries from now. So that kind of makes me think that that could be also a final scene where he finally meets. They do a future Flash thing like they did with Arrow to the time where he finally meets him and gets him angry enough to go back in time to kill his mother.
Yep.
I mean, that,
Kazi bringing up good. Kazi came with good questions and statements. Kazi came ready today. He says, "Can you guys talk about what David Ramsey said at Dragon Con?" Honestly, I'm tired of David Ramsey talking in general. I think he should really stop because he just caused a lot of confusion on certain things. Also, why did Todd Helbing take the job of showrunner if the continuity is hard? Then don't do it. Berlanti didn't force it on him; he took the job. It's it's not that the continuity of Superman and Lois is hard. From what we understand, from what we've been told by him, he was forced to make the show separate, and
yeah.
he was forced to not tell us until the end of season 2. I mean, we can only go based off of what he said.
Mhm.
As far as me and I'm concerned about what David Ramsey said, he put his foot in his mouth when he started talking about the Green Lantern Diggle thing as far as it goes on Superman and Lois's Earth, because that's just making it seem like these are the same Diggle or they live identical lives, which we know is, well, completely false. We know how the multiverse works. Some things may be the same, but on another Earth,
I got a really big question actually.
shoot.
Okay, so when did R Diggle from the Earth Prime? When did he find the quote unquote ring in a box? When did that happen? Do you guys
That
remember?
was the after the funeral,
Right. So it was after Crisis, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
after Oliver's funeral death scene.
Right. So we assume that all of that fighting with the Anti-Monitor and all of that happened on Earth Prime after they had to fix what happened with the wave of the negative wave or the anti-wave. Are we supposed to assume that that Diggle on Superman and Lois's Earth somehow also dealt with a crisis and also dealt with Oliver becoming the Spectre and then also found the box with the ring in it? That doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah,
That doesn't even make any sense.
I don't think he had a crisis. More like his best friend died, like Oliver Queen.
It's just there's no way. And he's married to the director of Argus, an organization that shouldn't even exist on a planet with no other superhuman people. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And yes, I still believe it's a transmatter cube. Everybody else keeps calling it a ring. It doesn't make any
He
sense as
just
a ring.
he just called, like, Diggle called John David Ramsey called it a ring at a con he was just at Symbiote.
Yeah.
Like, he just did a whole con and started talking.
But I dissected that scene. If you watched
Yeah.
my video on that, I dissected the hell out of that scene, and everything in it points to a transmatter cube.
which I
100%.
totally agree because I mean, how would he actually know it's a box with a green light?
Right, right.
Anytime
There was no ring in it.
Andy, I agree with this because when we started talking about what he said in the after party, and stuff just kept coming up about it, I just laughed because it's like, okay, dude, you're starting this all over again. And honestly, Eric, if you would have went to Dragon Con, you probably would have been sitting there like, oh my god.
Oh, I know. And the thing is, I usually go there and sign up for interviews to get interviews done. The only one that I've never been able to release was that stupid Danielle Panabaker interview I did like 5 years ago. But yeah, it's Dragon Con is great. There's a lot of really good info that comes out of it because it's really like a mini Comic-Con. But yeah, David Ramsey, how does he have so much inside info? That's what I don't understand.
He's like the Tom Holland of DC.
Honestly, Tom Holland isn't this bad when it comes to just
David
talking.
Ramsey will be like, yeah, and they're writing the story for Gotham Knights, and here's the main villain, and all. Like, how the F does he even know about that? Like, it just. He'll be like, oh yeah, the Flash movie, they're re-recording scenes and blah blah. Like, you aren't even part of the film franchise, but somehow he would know it. It's like that. It's really much like that.
And then what makes it worse is the fact that you have these people that went to Dragon Con on Twitter posting photos like, yeah, he just gave his he just let me know how the CW is gonna take Superman and Lois and reboot the entire Arrowverse and their vision for it. I said, how would he know that? Are you guys taking his thoughts as fact?
And in the fact that you're not giving other information about that said universe when you're just saying that he said it.
Not to mention at the after party, we were saying that that the reason why people take his word at face value is because a few things he said has actually ended up being true.
Oh, well.
And then even the thing about the Flash, I said I thought this was the last season. Eric said he thought it was the last season. Paige said he thought. What are we David Ramsey? Are we? Are we just like him? Do we have insider information? Like, come on, anybody? We saw the writing on the wall.
I'm just glad season 8 wasn't the last season because that was a downgrade.
If it would have been canceled, that would have killed the show. Like,
yeah,
wow.
Season 8 was finale was not my favorite.
Kyle, I disagree. If he's not, I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to be. He's been done so many times. He doesn't necessarily have to be the final villain for me. That's like saying, okay, we all know that the Dark Archer, Merlin, is one of Green Arrow's, arch enemies in the comics. That's like saying if he wasn't the final villain of Arrow, it would be annoying. If let's see, if we had a Batman show and Joker wasn't the final villain, it wouldn't bother me. Superman, if Lex Luthor isn't the final villain of Superman and Lois, would anybody honestly really care? Once these villains have been done so many times, especially on the same show, how many times has Reverse Flash been the final villain?
Yeah.
It's going on like what? Started in season 1, happened in season 5, and on top of that, it's always Tom Cavanaugh. So what? That was season 5. He was the final villain. Was he the final villain? Who was the final villain in 6? Final villain in 6 was a cliffhanger. 7.
It was the Mirror Mistress.
It was the Mirror Mistress. 7. Okay, I'll give a pass on that. But then he shows. Actually, no, he was the last person that Barry fought in season 7, and the final villain of 7 was honestly supposed to be Godspeed. But no, Eric Wallace wouldn't have Thawne turn on the person that he was supposed to be helping. Do we really want to see Thawne come back that much? Now,
I was
If it's Matt Letcher, cool.
I
If
was
it's a
actually
younger version of Thawne, cool.
I was just thinking, with that color of the cube, what came to mind just now is Parallax from the Flash 1990s. I mean, could they be doing Parallax? And I don't even think that Parallax is in the. Oh, I was looking at the DC version of them, from the comics, and there is a Flash version, but it's not blue. His costume is not blue, so I was.
You talking about the one that kind of looked like the clone of John Wesley Shipp's Flash?
Yeah, he had a blue suit that kind of made me think of the blue crystal, but then I was like, nah, it's not Parallax.
No, I think that was just something original that they did for that show. I honestly think, and I would hope that Eric wouldn't bite off of a previous iteration of the Flash. I would hope.
I was kind of thinking maybe he's going to make John Henry, his Barry Allen's father, the villain, not like a different version of the John Henry, different version of Barry's father, an evil version.
Yeah. Do you think David Ram? No, I do not. They are completely separate. And honestly, if we're still hoping that the Green Lantern show happens, I
They're
mean, I'm not holding my breath.
They're separate
And
yet connected, but with one thing: the Mark Guggenheim is the connection.
yeah, and
There's no other.
honestly, I don't think David Ramsey will ever suit up as Green Lantern. I think they're just gonna keep stringing that along
Yeah.
and just pissing off fans even more. Like, I hope they don't bring that back up. I hope he doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, I mean, I know he doesn't, but I know he doesn't. But I'm not gonna keep. I'm not
I
gonna
love David Ramsey, but please stop doing PR for the network. Please don't
and
do
get a
it.
haircut while you're at it. Jesus. All the photos that were posted this week, I'm like, dude, if you're gonna do dreads or twist, do that.
You
Pick one.
mean, are you going to wear leather on both hers?
I guess so. Andy, heck, I will say it. I know more than David Ramsey does, and it is utterly hilarious what he is throwing out there. At this point, I expect him to know when my funeral is happening before I do. Honestly, he's throwing a lot. He's throwing a lot out. He's throwing a lot out. No, I do not watch Pennyworth.
I watched season 1.
I was hoping it was going to be separate, but when I found out that it was a prequel to Gotham,
I didn't know about the prequel until after I watched season 2. So,
and then the new name that they gave it, I'm like, yeah, no. I for honestly, that sounded like
you want to make sure you're very very. It's a Batman property. Remember that. That's why they renamed it.
Okay, so let's jump. And you guys keep sending questions. We're gonna keep answering questions. But oh, Justin, I would say yes, but they keep referencing him like he's already like Clark's already like dealt with him and fought him before. So
And John Henry, I can't believe I mixed those two up. Sorry, John Henry Irons. And I got them mixed up with Henry Allen and John Henry Irons. Not gonna lie, but John Henry Irons actually knows about Lex because when they were talking about a conversation with Lois, he actually was like, yeah, Lex is really bad. He knew about him. So I'm wondering how he knew about him and what does he look like. Because I would be down for Michael Rosenbaum to come back. Saying
I would love to see Michael Rosenbaum back is Lex Luthor. And honestly, he said the only reason he didn't do the Crisis one is because he didn't know what story was going to be yet. They didn't have anything for him to do. And that's dumb for them to approach somebody like, yeah, you want to reprise the role? Yeah, what's the story? We don't know yet.
He said in a interview with while he was doing a podcast that it was because of money. Like they
Because of
weren't paying.
money, and they didn't have a story for him yet. They
He's
just
like,
approached him and said, would you want to do it? Like they had a story for Tom Welling,
Mhm.
but other than that, no.
And they had two different. Apparently, they had two different versions of the how he meets Lex.
Yeah.
Like, there's two different stories about that. So
You guys remember when people were just like grasping at straws for Crisis
yeah,
because of the whiteboard in the writers' room that they could see half of? I think that's what people are doing with these Disney Plus shows now. Just Crisis was the precursor to how people would react to this MCU stuff since we had to starve for content for so long.
yeah. They we had expectations, and they did not. They did not make the our expectations because we were expecting 10 different Supermans. We were expecting a bunch of Lexes. We were expecting exactly like the comic book.
Kazi, I honestly I can say I disagree because just because some of his DC TV shows may have been shelved, and it's not even shelving them. Honestly, the only ones that were just axed were Batwoman and Legends of Tomorrow. The other ones ended, and honestly, he doesn't really touch them anymore. He has people in place for that.
Yeah.
Like think about all the different shows that are under his production umbrella that you wouldn't even think of. Like I didn't know he did the All American stuff. I didn't know that was under him.
He also did the Tomorrow People.
So is Kung
Yep.
Fu. He did Kung Fu too. That's his
Yep.
as well.
He has so much stuff that we don't know is attached to him, but it's just his production umbrella. Like he's getting his bag.
But we also have to point out that Greg Berlanti isn't just a WB person. I mean, he's got deals with Lifetime, Netflix, ABC. I think he's got some NBC shows that he's done. So his production company is everywhere. Like
Yep.
I leaving Warner Brothers for him wouldn't matter in the big scheme of things. So he has no reason to walk away as long as they're going to pay him for the stuff that he makes. And Greg Berlanti is able to do things on a budget that most production companies are not because of the amount of workers and people that have been part of Berlanti Productions over the years. So,
Yep.
And he's also doing the HBO Green and Lantern TV series. That's the other thing that's connected.
and isn't that the Girls on the Bus? Isn't that also a Berlanti
Yep.
thing?
That's a Berlanti thing.
And he's still working with Melissa Benoist.
Yeah, I don't see him leaving unless they let him go. To be honest,
And that still wouldn't hurt
Yeah,
him.
I think
no, it wouldn't hurt him at all. He's got stuff everywhere. So
I think that's the reason why WBD did not personally cancel his shows. They probably went and talked to the president on the side and was like, "Hey, can you be the one to be the four up in the front and cancel these shows? Because we don't want to hurt Berlanti. We want him to be on good terms with us. So
What is WB is like smart and dumb at the same time. I did not know that this was true. This is Peacock.
oh,
Yeah.
This
Vampire-
is Peacock. They
Yeah.
took it off Netflix and put it on HBO Max and Peacock.
yeah.
What are they doing? Like that's very smart or very dumb.
I mean, it is their property. It's WB.
But Peacock's not attached to them, is it?
No, it's NBC.
So like what are they
Their game. They're probably has a deal with them to where they can get money from Peacock because it's on their service. They're probably sell.
I mean, we have to remember the main goal of the CW shows were to get syndicated. So I'm not surprised that they would sell it out to someone else.
Well, I wouldn't say sell. It's more like loan. It's a loan. Like
just in
it's
case,
rent.
because people
Rent.
are dropping their HBO Max subscriptions. They are.
Yeah, I would love to see the day where everyone will just drop Netflix and it becomes zero. That would be like eye opening.
I miss the days when everything was on Netflix. It was much cheaper.
Yep.
Yes.
So before we jump into the Stargirl discussion, you guys saw the news of the at Dragon Con, which is another thing Eric would have probably been shocked to see. Um, Apparently people were getting up asking questions about when the show was gonna start airing.
I saw that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they weren't really good with the advertising.
I mean, is it crazy though?
Well,
Look
it's
at
not
what's happened with the
it's not
CW advertising in the past.
it's
Like,
not crazy, but the like if I was them, like Yvette Monreal, and the kids that play Mike and why can't I think of his name? The one with the pen. Why am I drawing a blank? Jakeem. That's it. Um, they were just sitting there shocked that people didn't know that.
well, I have a prediction here. So we have two more financial quarters this year. We have one at the end of September and then one at the end of December. I believe we will find out before the end of this year if Stargirl will go on with another season. I would not be surprised if we find out within the next like month or month and a half if it goes on for another season, because I feel like the lack of advertising for Stargirl and all of this stuff that's happening is leading to a very bad place. I mean, I'm already prepared for it. I don't want it to go away, but I feel like it just seems to me that the Stargirl is in a similar space as the Flash, whereas Superman and Lois is slightly different. I wouldn't want to see Stargirl go away, but I have a really bad feeling about it. I think the writing is kind of on the wall.
I was laughing at Andy's comment. Holy mother, that is one big water ball.
Trying to drink more water.
Trying to drink the whole ocean.
Yep. But yeah, I agree, and that's a shame because this first episode, this season premiere was really good. So we could jump right into it. We discussed it some at the after party, but we, I mean, Eric, we thought they weren't gonna touch upon the comic aspect of these shows, but they actually did with them returning from the trip.
Yeah, they did. But Stargirl was a unique thing because even when the comics were out, it wasn't connected to Earth Prime, even though it was in an
True.
Earth Prime comic. So they could connect whatever they want because it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. So
Now, did you see the whole thing going around on social media about people thought that it was an Easter egg for the Flash, the newspaper that was on the, I guess, the table or something that said it was a flash of light in a pizza parlor or something? People were going around spreading like, "Oh, yeah, this must be the crossover they were talking about." And I'm like, you obviously didn't read the books, because if you read the book, Courtney literally stopped a robbery or something at that very pizza parlor, and they're just covering their tracks. That way, people won't say, "Oh, that's out of continuity."
Yeah, flash of light could mean the bow staff.
Yeah. And speaking of the cosmic staff, do you guys think that Sylvester's motives are going to like stay that like, okay, I'm gonna take the staff back regardless? Like, I honestly think he still wants to do that. He took it out with Pat without telling Courtney, and the fact that Pat let that happen is surprising to me as well, because
I
they didn't have the best relationship from the flashbacks we saw. So for him to just let Sylvester say just take the staff out and they just go out having fun, that didn't sit right with me.
Yeah, DJ Eric once said that there's this guy that made the cosmic staff, and I was thinking that if they want a peaceful resolution, it will be making another one
yeah.
because someone already made one.
Well, are we under the impression that finders keepers is a thing in real life? Because it was his staff to begin with.
5 second rule.
Yeah. So I mean, my question is are we mad that he wants it back because we like Stargirl, or are we mad he wants it back because he was kind of lying about it? Because it is his staff technically.
But I mean, that's what she was saying as well.
No, I agree with that. Yeah.
So like my whole thing was, okay, you've been back. An entire summer has went past. Why did you wait that long to do all of this? Like, what's your motives? Like,
I totally missed the 13 minutes of it, but did they show a flashback to him in the grave?
No.
and honestly, if they did, that would have been really cool to see.
No, the reason why I think that it's because they didn't, I don't think that he was telling the truth.
Right. So also this episode they talked about bringing Solomon Grundy back to life, and I thought that was an interesting conversation to have in this first episode, because that would be like bringing Starman back to life, right? If there was a way to do that. So I think there's some connective stuff that we just don't have all of the puzzle pieces for yet.
I think that's going to be the side mystery on top of the greater murder mystery, and she has a lot to deal with. Courtney has a lot to deal with this season, and honestly, I think coming out of this, it'll make her a better hero, because she's like Barry. She wants to see the best in people, and if that does happen,
no.
Like if that, like just think about it. Just think about it. We saw what happened after season 1 when he trusted Thawne. He thought that
he got over that real fast.
Nope. Did he though? Did he? The first few episodes of season 2, just imagine Barry's attitude towards people, but on Courtney. If she turned her back on the JSA because she felt like she put them in more danger than ever before. Like, you're trusting Sylvester. You don't know if his story is legit.
It's not.
I mean, of course it's not. But you're just going based off of, this is Pat's friend. The Cosmic Staff recognizes him. At this point, the Cosmic Staff is like a very, very dumb dog. I don't know, but it did stop working for Courtney for a little bit too.
Yeah.
After what
Calypso did to it.
So it stopped working for her too. So who knows if it's really like legit right now. So just imagine she's like going after Courtney. I mean, Courtney's like, okay, I can't be around you guys. I don't want to put you guys in danger. And she just turns her back on the JSA. They just want to be around. Like, I would love to see a Courtney that's not so happy-go-lucky, so trustworthy all the time. Because it's giving naive teenager.
It is, yeah.
Which is what she is. But just doing a 180 off of that for like a couple episodes, if they get a season 4, that would be really cool to see. Because she has to deal with a murder mystery.
We also have to remember that for the longest time, she thought Starman was her father. Like, she
That's
did.
True.
So she's already like super trusting of him just because of that. So
she should probably not tell him that as well. That would be very awkward. Yeah, I thought you were my dad. That's why the staff.
What did y'all think of when like he was talking to Pat when he was sitting in the garage with Stripe, and he's like, "Oh, they would definitely give you like a seat at the table." And I was like, "Oh yeah, so that we're making progress here." And then at the end of the episode, he's like, "And you can be my sidekick again." I'm like, "Wait, hold on. How did we go from like giving him a seat at the table to now he's your sidekick again?" Like,
yeah. And then it also, I felt really uneasy when Courtney was like, when I'm at school, you can have the staff. And when I get out, I can have it. I'm like, Courtney, are you dumb? And like, he's just sitting there playing the coy. I don't know. I'm like, oh, you know exactly what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like stop playing coy. And you're playing upon a teenage girl's emotions right now because she doesn't want to offend you. But at the same time, that's a source of power.
But here's the question: is there enough crime in Blue Valley that he's going to get any mileage out of like having the staff for like 6 hours a day? I mean, that's the big question.
Well, he's definitely going to fly with it. I mean,
yeah. And also, where's his suit? How many suits did he have? Because Courtney cut up one.
Yeah, Courtney cut up his only one, so he would have to make another suit. because there was only one in the case, and knowing Luke, what's his name, the father or the stepdad, knowing him, Stripe. I'm going to call him Stripe so I can remember. Knowing Stripe, he boxed everything that related to the JSA so that none of the secrets would get out. So that everything that Sylvester owned is in that box, and he only had one suit, which Corey altered. Which I hope she washed it.
Because that was gross. But
Yeah.
I mean, like, how do you think he's gonna get a new suit, or is he gonna suit up at all? Like, I hope he wouldn't just be going out in that leather jacket.
I
Get very
mean,
Gotham Knights
there's been a
vibes.
lot of different Starman costumes in the comics. I mean, we've had the ones from like the Legion of Superheroes, and we've had like a couple of different like black and red ones and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised if they give him like a version of that, like a more modern version, instead of going back to the red, white, and blue colors.
Yeah, and you know, like how they did like the whole Sylvester and Courtney relationship on Smallville. That made me think about that too, because she worked with him instead of just working with Pat and Stripe. So if he was really legit, that was another way that they could take it. But at the same time, I get, you know, they want to be different. So I'm saying I've always said I think Sylvester has underlying motives. His story just makes me uneasy. The whole I wasn't really dead. Well, you were dead enough for them to like bury you 6 feet underground and you didn't rise up again for 10 years. For
Right.
you to have still survived, I don't care how much of a teensy bit of connection with the staff you have. You were buried for 10 years.
I actually think the staff is going to have to make a decision. I think that's ultimately what's going to happen. The staff is going to have to decide who the true owner is.
Yeah.
I was thinking of with costumes that have you ever seen season 9 of Smallville?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you know episode 11 where Absolute Justice and they introduced Starman and Courtney Whitmore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think the version of Sylvester's costume would look like that, which is more like a trench coat over stars and stripes. Well, not stripes, but stars.
I always assumed that he was just trying to hide out from Eisenberg.
No, that's actually his costume worn through the years. Like
Oh.
it's it had a bunch of war stories attached to it because he like it was his only one, so he didn't have like a closet full of flash suits or a Cisco person to make them, but he only had one suit, so it was worn through the ages where he would wear it out, so it looked kind of dirty.
Oh, interesting. That I did not know. Now more I know, right? Hey. See, this is why you're here, Three Dubs. I didn't. I've watched Smallville several times, and I always thought he was wearing that to hide out. So
No, it was his suit.
okay, so
Um,
we
like
have to go ahead. What would you say?
like Hawkman, he had his original suit and from the past. Uh, Michael Shanks was really good as Hawkman. Not gonna lie, better upgrade than the one the Arrow had.
Yeah,
Total downgrade.
yeah. So once we, so like I was saying, I would love to see her. You know, just trying to find that balance again. Not being so trusting. I get she's a kid. They're gonna be trusting. She wants to see the best in people. But like I said, she has a lot to balance going from trying to trust all of these villains living in Blue Valley. You literally have the Crocs living next door. Um, the gambler was back. We know what happened to him. Trying to deal with Cindy, who seems like she wants to be a better person, but she's still giving off that I'm better than everybody attitude. Um, and just dealing with her own team, not wanting to have anything to do with them. Like even Beth, we know Beth. Beth is a goody two shoes, just like Courtney. She's gonna be trusting, just like Courtney. She doesn't really care. It seems her biggest issues are her overbearing parents. Now, can we just talk about that and how you like? How do you guys honestly think that's going to end? Like with her parents,
Courtney's parents,
Beth's parents,
best parents.
like just wanting to
Oh
be
yeah,
so
they're
involved.
they're I don't know how to say this. They're like not really parents because no parent would be like willing to put their kid in danger.
Yeah, it's weird because they're like, "Oh, we're gonna put you in this suit," but they are like, I mean, maybe that other suit would have more protection, maybe allow her to fight more or something. But it's like
I
you're
mean, all she
doing
does
too
is like
much.
stay down and do the good gadget thing with her eyes. You know, she does. She's not really a fighter.
Hey, Eric, look who showed up.
Hey, Peachy, want to join?
Sequel announced for the breakout hit of 2022. Canada grass verbally abuses minimum wage worker.
Wow.
Hey, hey, Eric, did Paige send you a video early this morning?
Oh yeah. He sent me a link to, well, a download link.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Wow.
I thought it was just going to be a link to the video from the after party, but
Yeah,
it's
he
something
made
else.
made a new one. Mayada, they are supportive. That's good because they were terrible parents for the first two seasons. But at some point, that's gonna get them either killed or hurt or get her hurt. Because what if they show up at the wrong time?
Yeah.
That's my biggest worry. They show up at the wrong time.
The wrong time for them, but the right time for the villains. That would be.
Yeah. It's like it's like they're doing too much. Like I get it. Like you're trying to get her at school. You're calling her on the goggles. Why couldn't you just call her on the phone? And that's a better question. Beth, why did you answer the goggles at lunch? Like I'm sure some people have seen the JSA out. They're gonna recognize the goggles. Somebody is gonna put two and two together, and then boom, the JSA secret identity is revealed. Am I thinking too much into that? I don't know. Maybe I am.
Well, a city full of people didn't realize that they were mind controlled. They just walked off like nothing happened.
That's true. You know, Hope Valley is like the easiest city to get away with crime, it seems.
There's like zero cops. I don't think I ever saw a cop.
No, we did when Rick got arrested.
Oh, well, I mean, it was for the story, so.
But that jail was also pretty empty. So it seemed like he was the only inmate there. So I mean, I don't know.
I mean, back when the ISA was prevalent in Blue Valley, they probably had their hands in all the pockets of everybody, including the police department. But I don't know about now. But back then, yeah, probably.
Wasn't the cop? Did the cop show up in season 2? Like just for Rick's arrest?
Yeah,
because I'm like, there was seriously a lack of them in season 1.
Eric, is this true?
I don't think so. I'm not sure. I haven't looked today.
Kazi, I can answer this very simply. Because Warner Brothers is being ran by idiots. And I mean, I honestly didn't expect it to happen, me personally.
They have literally nothing to show. Like they canceled a bunch of stuff. They have like bad publicity right now because of the fact that they're canceling a lot of stuff, and that they don't have anything new because they only can show 2 movies this year, and that's Black Adam and that
I don't trust
movie
you
that I
all the
can't
time
remember.
or something. Whatever the name of that movie is.
Yeah, and they can only reach those 2. So I mean, like, no one would sit for an hour listening to about two movies. They would want something about the future, and they don't have that yet. They say they have a 10-year plan, but they're not going to tell it because they don't have one.
That's what me and Eric have been saying for the longest since they announced that they had a 10-year plan. I mean, I don't know.
It's a
I
lie
don't think they
to
will.
keep
You
the
know, I honestly I vote we get Zaslav out, we put Eric in charge, and we might get all the movies that we want.
Oh yeah,
Me, Eric, or Eric Wallace? Which one are you
Oh,
talking
you
about?
Eric, not
it,
not Eric. We
not
get
not
Eric,
Eric
we
Ross.
get
No,
Eric Wallace. We might just have Cecile film. All right.
The first thing I would do, honestly, is greenlight a Man of Steel 2 that takes place in continuity after Man of
Yes,
Steel 1.
yes,
Like
yes.
all the way back then, and then we reboot from that point.
I'm
Skip all
already,
the other stuff after that and restart from there.
I'm
That's what I
already
would
a
do.
fan.
Yeah, we could even keep Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, keep some of the same actors involved in it, but basically the mistakes happen when they skipped through a Man of Steel 2 where we should have gotten a proper evolution of Superman before we got to BVS. That's what I would have done.
Yeah, I would have liked them to find, like how they took after MCU where they introduced the solo characters first before they do a big team up, and I kind of did not like that they put Batman in front of Superman. Well, Superman, Batman v Superman. Yeah, they put Batman in front of Superman to to have a buddy kind of movie, but it wasn't really a buddy movie. But I kind of wanted a Batman solo movie first before we got a Batman v Superman. That seems like it needed character development before we
Yeah,
even saw it.
Batman v Superman turned into that, and then Death of Superman and Doomsday all together in one
Yeah, it
movie,
was
which
too
was
much.
weird. We needed to do at least one half of the DC characters that were going to be in Justice League before we ever got to the crossover movie.
Yeah.
That's what I think. In any of them, it could have been Aquaman, you could have done Wonder Woman, whoever it needed to be, it needed to happen before the team up. Honestly,
And I would have actually liked to see Martian Manhunter instead of Cyborg, but I get
me too.
I get the Cyborg, because he's supposed to be a Teen Titan, not a Justice League member, in my opinion. I like him as a Teen Titan version of Cyborg.
Didn't they put him in because of the New 52 though? Wasn't he like part of the New 52 Justice League?
Yeah, he was part of Justice League War, so they thought that was a good idea because he was the star of the New 52 version of the team. So they wanted to tie into that. Like I said, they had a lot of material, and a lot of times they copied off of the DCEAU, which is DC Extended Anime Universe, where they would Justice League War kind of like jumped at me with Justice League because it was kind of the same thing, just told a little differently. And Aquaman was a lot like Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom, and
They tried to bite so much, but just had poor execution.
there was no real creativeness to it. It was an original story. It felt like
The best Justice League thing we have ever gotten from DC, in my opinion, outside of the comic books, is the Justice League animated series from Bruce Timm. That is my favorite Justice League run. You could argue the movies also do a pretty good job, but I think that just for the fact it was so comic booky, I loved the Bruce Timm Justice League series. I thought it was really good.
I really like the animated. If I had to pick, I would choose the DCAU instead of the DCEU.
You mean just the animated film universe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the animated film universe is actually more connected and more. The story is more tight.
Yeah. Not only that, but like just it's really good. I think they should have just taken whoever put that universe together. I don't know the specific people that did it, but whoever put that together should have done the live action movies. Like I don't know why they could not pull it together for that. I don't understand what the problem was. So
What do you guys think about the new animated universe?
I like
The
the
what are they calling it? They coined a term for this
Tomorrowverse.
one too. The
Tomorrowverse.
yeah, the Tomorrowverse.
I like the Man of the Superman movie. I like the Man of Tomorrow one, but I do not like how they drew the Batman in the new for the Tomorrowverse.
Yeah, isn't it Jensen Ackles?
Jensen. No, I don't think so. Hold on.
And I also I just recently watched the Green Lantern film. I'm glad they're going with John Stewart. I do not like how they went about it though. Have you seen it, Eric?
yeah, I've seen it.
I don't like how they did that. I don't I just don't feel as if you need to kill off or make a certain iteration of the character evil to introduce a different one.
Right.
It just felt off to me.
Well,
And he looked like he was going Super Saiyan half the time.
yep, that was Jensen Ackles.
So we have Jensen Ackles as our Batman in the Tomorrowverse, and Darren Criss as our Music Meister as our Superman.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, Jensen Ackles was Red Hood too. And,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
the best Red Hood in my opinion.
Eric, you have a fan tonight.
Yeah, see. Another issue I think we have, and this is going to lead into another conversation, so I'm going to drop it here as a comment, but I'm not going to go too far into it, is at a certain point when we come out with new things like the Tomorrowverse or whatever's next and whatnot, you can't keep going back to the beginning and retelling everything from the start because that's just not good. Sometimes with like the way comics work and the reason why these new number ones and these reboots are so prevalent is you have to just start somewhere and then commit to whatever that is and not always go back to the beginning.
Yeah, I do not like different variations of the same story.
Yeah.
You know, Eric, you have the you need to be on TV, man, because this is something I have said for so long. Like, I get it. I completely get it. Why the Tomorrowverse, why they started from scratch, because it's basically Barry Allen did another Flashpoint. Just like the original Flashpoint film led into the DC AU in the first place. I completely get it. But did we really need to reboot another animated universe? It was another way to end that last Dark Side movie. Maybe he set the world back to the way it was after Flashpoint. We didn't need to completely reset it because let's face it, Barry Allen's design, the cow design, how it looks like his nose is like a pig or something. That's horrible. I love that, you know, they have the Candace Patton inspired Iris. That's cool to see. That's something we haven't seen in animation before.
Right.
The Justice League that we have so far is Green Arrow, Martian Manhunter, and Vixen, and apparently Hal was a part of that. But I feel as if we missed a lot of that.
Yeah.
And the whole Batman, it's like they're trying to throw things together and see if they stick coherently, but we miss a huge part of the story.
You know what another big issue is with like the way DC is done anyway in general. Now I love DC, but this is kind of a problem. The way their legacy characters are done, with the exception of a couple of them that have kind of been accepted, the way the legacy characters are done, it is really hard for them to just come in and exist without telling the story beforehand. For example, Nightwing. Nightwing is a great character with a lot of history. Red Hood, a lot of history. But how do you portray those characters in an environment where you've never really had Batman? Like, say, for example, you wanted to bring in a new show and you wanted to start out with a Nightwing show. How do you do that without incorporating everything that came before Nightwing? But then on the flip side of that, you have like the Wally West Flash, where the Wally West Flash is one where people would just accept Wally West in a show by himself without Barry Allen because he had his own
the original
separate thing.
the original Justice League show,
Yeah.
that animated show.
Yeah. But certain characters don't. There's certain characters that people don't want to let go of. Batman is a character that no matter how far we move beyond him with giving like spin-off Bat family characters, it almost always seems to tie back to Bruce Wayne, no matter what.
To quote on Robert Blake's one, so DC is kind of stuck where Marvel used to be with their characters like Spider-Man and Fantastic Four and everything. Well, DC hasn't sold. My cat just got down from the closet. DC hasn't sold their property to other companies, so the reason why they couldn't use Spider-Man and Fantastic Four for the longest time is because the fact that Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man and Fantastic Four was owned by 20th Century Fox. DC is more tight-lit. They don't like giving their characters away. So, I mean, when I think about it, I think that they should go all out because there's a lot of good characters in the DC property. They could have gone without. They could have done it with a bang because they have so many characters.
Yeah.
And they could have made it awesome with so many characters. I'm like wondering how do they not like, you know how they take away like Suicide Squad from Arrow. They asked them to kill them off because they were going to use the characters on their side. I mean, like they're like, is there like a are they forbidden to use certain comic book characters or whatnot, or are they just?
I think that's what it is.
Like
it's always been like that.
Like, are they afraid, or they can't use certain characters of their own property to use in the film?
I think it's not really afraid. It's just like with Batman. They're going to do anything to make Batman look horrible on TV. Like, for instance, Batwoman, he's missing. You get a version of him. He's evil, and then he dies. Titans, he's old as dirt. Well, actually, first he was used in a hallucination where he killed the Joker for Nightwing. And then we see the super old Bruce Wayne. And then he kills the Joker and says, I'll never be Batman again. Gotham Knights, it appears he's getting shot dead on the street in a tuxedo and a fake Batman mask. Now, that's another thing that's going to be a conversation for when we do our Gotham Knights after party. Eric, call me crazy, but if they make that his actual Batman suit, it's two ways this could go horribly wrong. Well, the whole show has gone horribly wrong already. But if somebody kills Bruce Wayne in his Batman suit, okay, I could see how the cops will put 2 and 2 together. But if they kill him and then place a Batman mask on him, because it honestly looks like a cowl that just like goes on the front of your face, like a little Party City mask.
Yeah.
How would they have put 2 and 2 together that he was Batman in the first place? Because he's got shot in the street, but it looks like he's wearing a tuxedo.
That was my biggest question with the trailer. Honestly, was like I didn't understand that scene. I'm trying not to like judge a book by its cover too much, but I have little faith in that show. Again, I'm going to go into it and give it an opportunity. I'll watch the first episode and maybe it'll change my mind. I mean, probably my biggest example of having my mind change was John Cryer's Lex Luthor. I remember being really mad about that when I heard he was cast as Lex. I'm like, how is he going to do it? He's a comedian or whatever. And he changed my mind. Maybe Gotham Knights will change my mind. I don't know, but it doesn't seem like it's the kind of show that I would enjoy. So yeah.
These nuts.
What the heck?
What is wrong with Paige?
Why Triple X says, why is Gotham Knights even happening? I have no idea why that show.
Zaslav said, "Hey, I'm taking over. Let's do
So
it."
I'm gonna use this is a really good example of Zaslav, right? If I came to you and like say for example, you Lance, you purchased a company that I own, like you're acquiring my company. And you know that it's a music production company, right? We make records, okay? And I came to you and I said, "Yeah, that new record by Armand Van Helden is good. That new record by Zed is good. The new record by Timbaland is great, and the new record by Pharrell is great." You're probably going to know half of those four people that I just talked about, right?
Yeah.
So that's why Zaslav is the wrong person for the job, because he's coming into a business where he only knows the top end characters. He doesn't know the beloved characters that aren't mainstream. So that's why when a lot of these things like Batgirl and stuff are getting shelved, it's because he thinks in his mind that because he knows Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, that somehow those are the most profitable characters. And it's really sad because we're losing out on some really, really good stuff. By the way, I just saw this on Twitter. Brendan Fraser and his new film got a standing ovation.
6 minutes.
Okay. Where you can see that this man is so passionate about coming back into acting and really diving into it. And they canceled his movie with Batgirl, where he was going to be the main villain.
Yeah.
Talk about a freaking L on that. Like,
yep, I saw that earlier. I'm like, I was so hyped for Brendan Fraser. Knowing what he went through when he disappeared from Hollywood, having to deal with that. I mean, come on. Yeah, and y'all do him like this?
I'm just saying from a business standpoint, I believe David Zaslav's biggest mistake is he only cares about the stuff that he personally knows about, and he's not willing to give anything else a shot. That's the biggest problem.
Yeah. And it's the almighty dollar.
Yeah.
Yep, Mayada, we know. I don't know why people believed this guy named Eric Davis, who then came out and said he said it without even verifying the source. So yeah, I don't know why people would still listen to him anyway.
I have a problem with people this person called DC something hasn't deleted it, and that people are still sharing it to this day, thinking it's real, that Gotham Knights is canceled. I'm like,
they're in for a surprise come January, February. They're in for a rude awakening, and I'm going to be laughing.
So David Zaslav, I just thought about this while we're sitting here talking. So one of the things he said during that, I guess I don't remember if it was during the quarterly call or if it was like an interview afterwards, but he was talking about his 10-year plan, and he says that it was the 4chan, the leaks that came out on Reddit or whatever of what he was going to be doing. And one of the things they said is they believe that Marvel only has 10 years before they have to basically reboot everything.
Yeah.
But if you look at the direction Marvel's heading in, they're not going to reboot anything. Like, they gave us stuff all the way to 2025 where they're going to start introducing mutants. They're not heading in a reboot direction. If anything, once mutants are introduced, it's going to create another, like, decade of films.
Yep.
So the idea that this 10-year plan is hinging on a Marvel reboot when they're still making so much money, like, I can guarantee you Wakanda Forever is going to break $1 billion.
Oh, most definitely.
mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to at least be 200 of those dollars.
So this idea of a 10-year plan, I wonder if he thinks he's going to start the 10-year plan after 10 years. Like, are we going to have to wait 10 years for another DCEU before we start getting those movies? Because that doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. Like, it's just mind blowing how clueless he is, and it's mind blowing how many people are just like blindly following him. How much faith they have in him, and people are calling like reputable sources like Hollywood Reporter, Deadline Variety. They're saying like, oh, they're making up all this stuff. I said they're not claiming it as fact. They're saying they got it from their sources, and by the looks of things, like Legendary Pictures pulling out from underneath them, and just like them, the reports of them not having any money for films and the constant shelving of stuff. Half of the stuff that they're saying is turned out to be true. Like, how can you still have that much faith in a man? He's not going to bring back Zack Snyder. He's not going to restore the Snyderverse. He's definitely not going to bring back. You think he's bringing back Cavill, and Cavill wanted more money?
Nope, I don't think so.
He's too cheap.
The issue with Cavill before Zaslav came in is apparently they said he wanted too much money. So how are they going to negotiate that now? It doesn't make any sense. I would love to see Cavill back as the movie Superman. I just don't see it happening.
And it doesn't make sense that they're lacking on advertisement when, in fact, I think they're falling on their own sword so that they can cancel shows reasonably because they didn't match their live ratings or whatever. Because that's why I think what's happening to Stargirl is because they want to fall on their own sword so they have a right to cancel it.
I've said this so many times. Advertising, when you put money into anything as a business, you assume that you're not going to get that money back. That is how advertising works. When you finally do get the money back, then you are able to start collecting profit, but you never ever think about that beforehand. So they're putting these TV shows and movies out without any advertising and expecting people to just know.
Yeah.
That's so dumb.
Because I was 13 minutes late and I finally remembered, like after 13 minutes that, Stargirl's on tonight.
It'll be proven David Zaslav is lying about a lot of stuff, you guys. Get ready. It might take several months before it comes to light, but he wants to get rid of a lot of scripted content because non-scripted content is inexpensive to make. It's got high return value for streaming numbers, for ads and such. And the people that get on those shows are not actors. They don't have to pay them like they pay actors. That's what makes them so cheap. Like if you get cast on a show like, baking 101 or something, you're there for the chance to win money. And that money that you win is so much less than what they actually pay an actor for like one episode of a show. It's wild.
My ad, he wasn't Doom Patrol. He was a robot.
Yeah.
Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, they could always add twerking. That seems to help generate buzz for your.
Well, speaking of that, let's jump to that because we're gonna go till about like 7:05. Let's jump to She-Hulk. Why is this twerking scene just killing just the nail in the coffin for the show for everybody? Because they're mad about a 10-second post-credit.
I don't think it's the nail in the coffin. I think it's just a list of things that they're going to continue to complain about while the show's on the air. It's just one of those.
It's so irritating.
Next week, if she turns around the corner and shows a little too much leg, they'll complain about her showing too much leg. That is what'll happen. Yeah. Did you see that skirt she had on? It was such a high slit on that skirt. We saw all the way up her thigh, and that's inappropriate. Like they'll literally complain about anything.
Yes, and then I was watching this TikToker Jay Stoobs. Love her content. Shout out to Jay Stoobs. She says she made it so plain and clear. She's like, you guys are complaining about this whole scene, and you're acting like it was that important to the show. It's just having fun. It's a comedy.
It was an after credits scene.
It's the after credits. She was wearing a man's suit at that.
Yeah, and flats. And she was wearing flat shoes.
The shoes made it more funny. When I saw the shoes she had on, I was dying laughing. I said, she's really wearing.
Also, I think so. Let me get real psychological here. This is going to be a psychological thing, and I'll probably be talking about this on my Twitch podcast in more detail because I'll be starting that soon, probably next week. The fact that men who were upset about this are not even connecting the dots that is exactly the problem they're drawing attention to is hilarious to me, right? Because these women were not dancing to be objectified by men. They were dancing because they were celebrating and having fun. It was showing power. There is power in controlling what you do with your body. That is a very powerful statement. And she's in her office dancing however she wants to dance because she is a boss bitch and she can do whatever she wants to do. And that was the message they were trying to convey. Megan Thee Stallion was being shown as a very rich black woman who was able to put a retainer on the most high-profile lawyer in the MCU. This was a power move on their part. It was showing body autonomy. It was speaking to racial issues, to misogyny. All of that happened in that scene, and the reaction from the people that were mad about it was exactly the group of people that scene was speaking about. And those people don't seem to understand that. Their cognitive dissonance in that moment is so wide and broad, they just do not understand it.
Yep.
And Baron Zemo wasn't the first to get on the dance floor during a actual TV show, unlike Cliffhanger. Iron Man himself started it. He was the first to actually, the first hero to actually start the trend of dancing in his movie.
Well,
that was Iron Man 3.
Not only that,
itself.
The entire intro for Peacemaker was a freaking dance.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's DC.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just the same. It's the same group of people. Like it's the same thing.
And they wouldn't. They were praising. They're praising Peacemaker. You have people doing the dance as a challenge on TikTok.
On top of that, Megan Thee Stallion is known for her dancing. That's one of the big things about her. If they would have put her on the show and not used that in some way, it would have been ridiculous. And I said this during the after party. Everyone that I know that does not watch superhero stuff, people that do not watch this content, came up to me on Friday night at a club and they were like, oh my God, I watched She-Hulk because I heard Megan Thee Stallion was on it and I loved it. And that is exactly what Marvel is doing that is working. They're pulling in new viewers that are going to go, hey, this She-Hulk thing is cool. I enjoy it. And we're going to go see the next movie that comes out. We're going to go see the Marvels. We're going to go see Black Panther because they're doing stuff that I like and I didn't know it. That's exactly what they're trying to do. All these people that are attacking She-Hulk are also still watching the show and contributing to the success of the show.
Every week.
And they're paying for Disney Plus subscriptions.
They're going
in my mind, it would be
9 episodes. They're going to keep watching.
In my mind, there would be complete disrespect to Stallion if there wasn't a dance number, because because she's her whole item is dancing, so not doing it would be disrespectful.
Honestly, the whole issue that people had when they found out Megan Thee Stallion was going to be on the show, they thought she was going to be playing a Marvel character.
Right.
She didn't. She played herself.
But she can't even play herself. That's the thing. The racism is showing. The racism is showing because they were mad that she was going to play a Marvel character, right? They were so upset about that. But then she can't even play herself.
Exactly.
They don't even want her on the show at all.
Nope.
That's the part that gets me 100%. I love Meg. I'm a DJ. This is what I do for a living. I love Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion is an amazing businesswoman. She's an amazing artist. She's been a part of Legendary, which is a huge black ballroom trans and gay community show on HBO Max, which will probably get canceled, by the way. But she's been a huge influence in the community. And I got so excited knowing she was going to be on the show. And I didn't even know what character she was going to play. But then the fact that she was on the show and she played herself and people were still mad, I'm like, I wasn't even going to say anything about it before. But you don't even want her to exist on the show. You don't want her to even appear as herself. It's really freaking weird.
And they're still talking about it, though. It's like, what about all the other stuff on the show that happened? Like, honestly, if you want to complain about something, like people, and I get it, the Wrecking Crew, one of the characters is, canonically black.
Mm-hmm.
They were not on the show. Right. That can be that. I get that. But if you want to complain, people are so busy complaining about twerking.
Next time somebody complains about the Wrecking Crew, ask them who their favorite character is, what their origin story is.
Exactly.
Ask them how much they really love the Wrecking Crew, or if it's not just being used as a prop to argue.
And that's what I said. I'm like, okay, the Wrecking Crew, yeah, one of them is canonically black, but it could be a different iteration. Like they weren't even their regular self.
The
like,
Wrecking Crew is a Z tier Thor group of villains. Like
I wouldn't have known who they were if I didn't see the crowbar.
I'm not saying they're insignificant. I'm just saying that the people who are arguing about stuff like that, where were they demanding the Wrecking Crew be in Marvel over the last 12 years? They were nowhere. They didn't exist.
So they're like, people are trying to. It seems like they're trying to pull the attention off of the Megan Thee Stallion thing to try to start this argument.
Yeah,
I'm like, this show is going to be. You're going to keep the show trending, and this might be another show that gets a season 2 just based off all the buzz that you're giving it. Like the Wrecking Crew, like Eric said, Z-list villains. They could literally be anybody.
Yeah,
and even then, that action set piece at the end. Before the twerking, why is nobody talking about that? Because 1, it was hilarious. 2, it showed that somebody is trying to get Jen. Like,
well,
her blood.
There's a lot of things in the episode that you could talk about or complain about that have nothing to do with twerking. Like, for example, like you said, that end scene. Why was it so hard for them to get her blood? It would have been very easy for them to do that, but they were idiots. The way they did it, they were freaking idiots.
Amateurs.
Tried to get her before she transformed.
Right.
Like,
you could complain about that. You could absolutely complain about the B plot of the episode. I don't think the B plot was very good in that episode. I thought it was a little silly with the elf and everything. There's things to complain about that are not the obvious things.
yeah.
Like, you know.
I did have a highlight for the episode, and that was the fact that they literally shaded every single person that dissed the show before it aired.
As they should have.
I found it hilariously funny and also greatly satisfying.
They did it, and then that group of people responded in the exact way that caused them to get clowned in the first place.
I mean, hey, that people are gonna do what they want to do, and I honestly felt like they deserved it. It just shows that these showrunners, the creators of She-Hulk, they don't care. They're gonna keep making a show that's honestly, I'm not gonna say She-Hulk isn't top tier Marvel, but it isn't the worst thing we've ever seen.
Inhumans is the worst thing.
Inhumans is the worst.
Iron Fist season 1 is the worst thing we've ever seen.
This show is not bad by any means. It's a comedy. It's a superhero courtroom drama comedy. Like, come on, like she's breaking the fourth wall. Like I said, the wrecking crew scene when she screamed and then looked in the camera and said, "Oh wait." That was hilarious because I was even sitting there like, why are you screaming like this?
Who's our special guest that just came on now? Who is that?
I think that's I'm waiting for him to say something. It says Earth 2 Eric, but it might be Robert Storms. That's what it looks like.
Yo, man, I'm woke. I'm woke, man. I'm woke. I'm woke and I went broke.
Well,
So,
get woke, go broke.
So, Earth 2
man.
Eric, will you be watching She-Hulk this week, or is it too much for you?
No, man, I'm not following that agenda.
So it's an agenda. Oh.
I'm gonna eat a hot dog instead
Oh no.
with some mustard.
But no, I will say that the B plot with the Asgardian elf, that was a bit much, but it's poking fun at that. I don't know why I cannot remember that dude's name, but I don't like him at all.
Which guy?
The one who was dating
Eric.
the elf.
Belowski? Is that his name? Belowski? I think it was Belowski.
Is it Belowski?
Yeah, it's Emil. Blowski.
No, not Emil.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
His name's Eric.
the guy that used to work with her at the DA's office.
Eric. His name's Eric.
It is?
It's Buck Bukowski. Buck Bukowski, I believe is his name.
Gaslit.
Well, whatever his name is, I don't like him, but his character is purposely meant to, be unlikable.
Yeah.
um that felt in place, but the storyline also, it felt like they were just trying to give something for Bugsy to do, Cigar's character. It felt like they were just trying to give him something to do for the episode, just to fill in time, if you get what I mean.
Not gonna lie, watching Josh Segarra act in this kind of joking manner, kind of like I was like, I've never seen him do this. I mean, I've seen him.
Weird.
It was totally weird. I was like, I'm watching like him trying to be funny, and I've always seen him as a serious character.
See you, Cal.
You know, and I get it. Some people like the side story. I just found it to be a little bit boring to me. That's it. Like, it wasn't my favorite side story. I did like the idea of an elf just walking around pretending to be other people. That was kind of funny. But outside of that, I wasn't too invested in that.
That's the biggest issue with She-Hulk. It's marketed as a comedy, and it's just not consistently funny.
Right? Yeah, I would.
That's the biggest issue, and I think it comes down to the fact. I mean, I think we all knew we were getting him when the writer of Pickle Rick was the showrunner. Because I mean, Pickle Rick is like a lowbrow comedy. I know it won awards, but after you watch, you don't want to watch that episode 3 times, otherwise you might jump off a building.
Yeah.
So like that's the biggest issue with it. I think.
See, that's my thing, is that there are some literal criticisms, like real criticism of the show that you can have, but the outrageous people go for like the low hanging fruit. They don't actually
go for that. Oh, it's just that she's a woman, so
Right,
or something like that, or what it might be based on race or whatever. The
VFX
show
aren't
is
that great.
easily-
VFX, she looks like a video game character.
Yeah, there are times when the
at
VFX
least
aren't great.
85% of this
That
episode.
was it last episode, or was it the most recent one where it looked terrible?
Yes, it was this episode. She
Was it
looks
this
like
episode?
claymation.
I actually think we've called this out on the CW shows. Daytime VFX is really difficult. It's really, really, really difficult to do.
And humanoid.
Yeah, because the Hulk and any character that is anamorphic but isn't totally human looking, you can kind of make those work. But She-Hulk is literally just a bigger version of Jennifer.
But also, I think they're reusing a lot of Hulk stuff.
Yeah, probably.
If that makes sense, I think they're reusing a lot of already finished stuff with Hulk.
There's a rumor that
That's
they
why
are
there's a
going.
big difference in between them.
There's a rumor apparently that they're going to continue to update the VFX even after the show is done airing to try and make it better. But they
Didn't
just
they do that with? Was it? They did it with one of the shows, didn't they? Was it Loki or was it WandaVision?
I think it was WandaVision.
Yeah.
Might have been WandaVision.
Yeah. So apparently they want to make it better, but if you're watching it right now, it's basically like you're watching the unfinished VFX for the show. But I mean,
that there's a lot of people that were hating on the fact that it was a comedy. I'm like, they introduced it as a comedy. It's going to be a comedy, and you watch it, it is a comedy. So, I mean, it's like, Jurassic Park, you expect a dinosaur, you go and go see a dinosaur, you should come out happy that you saw a dinosaur.
But at the same time, a lot of people were hating on the show when it was first announced because they felt as if, they're continuing down that trend of, they're going to replace all of our classic male heroes with female heroes. Hell, let's just be completely honest. It was comments of people that didn't even know She-Hulk existed.
Yeah.
Now, that could have been satire, or, I like to believe that people are just that stupid. But it's people that didn't even know She-Hulk existed. Like, they were literally thinking that this was a made-up character.
And they weren't ginger swapping. They were actually pulling actual characters from the comics. Like, like Hawkeye's, what's her name? Well, she's an actual character in the comics. She doesn't use Hawkeye's persona, but she uses her name as her superhero name.
Okay.
It's the purple the girl.
Kate Bishop?
Yeah, Kate Bishop. She uses her name, Kate Bishop, to for a superhero name. She doesn't really use Hawkeye, but
people don't, bro. You gotta understand. People don't care about that when it comes to the whole woke agenda, as they put it, and they still don't know what woke actually means. If it's a female, if it seems like it's taking the name of an established male hero, they don't care. Like, I guarantee you, people are going to complain when the next Miles Morales film comes out and Jessica Drew is a black animated character and she's Spider-Woman.
Mhm.
They're going to complain about that. They will go that low to complain about cartoons.
I'm waiting for. I actually have a video recorded from like, oh gosh, like a week ago. That's ready to go already. Where I call out, and this will be on your live stream, so we can look back. If a female character, doesn't matter if it's Okoye, Shuri, anybody from the Dora Milaje, anybody becomes Black Panther for any reason at all, there will be a hate campaign against that movie.
Oh,
100%. And it will be sheerly on the fact that they are quote unquote undeserving of the title of Black Panther. If they don't get some kind of training montage, which even if they get a training montage, they'll be like, oh, well, they learned to be the Black Panther in 5 seconds. That will literally be what they're going to do for that movie. Mark my words, that will be the argument. And it literally makes no sense at all.
Oh,
And
definitely.
there was drama about Captain Marvel taking the name of, Shazam, and I was like, and Shazam even underperformed at the box office, and Captain Marvel got almost $1 billion.
They're
from,
always, like I said, they're always gonna do that. It's like people being uneducated or just wanting to start drama and troll.
yeah, and Captain Marvel wasn't that bad. It was a good story, but it had its ups and downs, like any Marvel movie. But I enjoyed it, not like ecstatic about it. I saw your face. I was like, I'm not saying it was like the best movie ever that existed. I'm saying it was watchable.
I enjoyed it for what it was, but at the same time, I don't like how I could have cared less for the Nick Fury aspect, or at least how they did the eye thing. I could have cared less.
Well, here's the thing, and this is I will stand by this no matter what when it comes to any movie. The problem with movies and TV shows that make them bad are not female characters or black characters or gay characters. That is not what makes those things bad. If you want to talk about them being not good or why you didn't like them or whatever, you have to give some specific context. Just those things alone doesn't immediately make something bad. And I think that's my issue with it, is a lot of times I run across these channels where I am waiting for them to give me a real reason for why they don't like something. And if your main reason is, oh, it's a woman or it's a black person or it's a gay person or a trans person, I immediately assume that you don't really care about what you're talking about.
Exactly.
There are literal criticisms. We could sit here and criticize Captain Marvel for things that it actually did wrong. But if you go to any of those channels, they don't talk about that stuff. Same thing with She-Hulk. There are actual things you could complain about from the episode, but the people that are criticizing it and speaking poorly of it don't actually talk about the things that were bad.
Yeah. And I think for comparison wise, I think Black Widow was worse than Captain Marvel.
I will agree with that. Yeah, I will agree with that.
Black
Black Widow was very mid. Like,
especially
mid.
I knew she wasn't coming back, but still dangling a carrot in front of me, saying, "Hey, she's here." Scarlett Johansson.
Well, actually, Pagey loved Black Widow. He said that was his favorite MCU film.
Did he?
Yeah,
I still haven't watched it. I haven't watched that of Shang-Chi yet.
You haven't watched Shang-Chi?
Shang-Chi is actually like high tier Marvel, honestly.
Yeah, but I don't really care when people tell me to watch
awesome.
something. I have to be in the mood to watch it.
Yeah. No, but I will say this, Shang-Chi, no matter what people say about it, it is definitely like high tier Marvel movie. That is like up there for like.
And Eternals was the fail project.
Yeah.
Eternals for me is again one of those mid to low. Like it had problems structurally with it that had nothing to do with the diversity of the cast.
Yeah, it was more like Thor: The Dark World. It underperformed, but
I'm one of those rare people that really love Thor: The Dark World.
Really?
Well,
Yeah.
it's weird to
like-
openly admit to an L like that, Eric. But
I liked it, but not like ecstatic about it.
but I'm also the same person that says it's okay to like bad movies. I've said this before.
Yeah.
That's true.
You can like bad movies. I'm not saying that Thor: The Dark World is a good movie. I'm just saying that
Sounds
I
like
Or
it.
the Dark World had like some of my favorite humors in it. I will stake my life on it. That his introduction to helping out Sif was hilarious because he was like, maybe we should start with the big one. I mean, those humors, they resonated with me, so I liked certain parts of the movie, all that. But I didn't, however, like what Odin was doing with the how he was completely like gullible or naive is the term, where
Yeah.
he didn't take it seriously, which I kind of was kind of mad about.
But do we know who the actual overarching villain is for She-Hulk? Do we know that already?
A lot of
No.
people think it's going to be the leader, but we don't know for sure.
Have the Wrecking Crew canonically ever worked for the leader?
I don't think so because they were always connected to like Thor. I thought.
Yeah, and would it be the same leader from the Incredible Hulk film?
I would think that if they really wanted to like tie it all together, yes, it would be the same character.
Who played the leader in the Incredible Hulk?
I forgot his name.
Was it Tim Blake Nelson?
I think so.
Well, he was blue. He was a pen pal.
Yes, it was Tim Blake Nelson.
That's the leader.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I know that
He
had
started to
Well,
mutate.
because in the movie he called himself Mr. Blue, if you remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I noticed that during the transfusion that blood from Bruce Banner leaked into his forehead, and
Yeah, he did start to mutate a little bit.
no, he jumped out the window, and that's the last time we saw him.
But keep in mind that weird elongated skull he has is so humorous that it would actually work on She-Hulk, but probably not anything else.
Yeah.
Other than maybe Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. I would like to see him come back, but I don't want. You're used to the leader being a Hulk villain, not a. I don't know. I don't want Titania to be the.
Here's the deal.
the
I don't
bad.
think anybody. The Hulk is in such a weird place in the MCU right now. I don't think anybody would care too much if the leader ended up being a She-Hulk villain because everybody wants Hulk to be like savage World War.
Why
Hulk
does everybody want Hulk to regress?
because they think of the Hulk as like his old like. I don't know. I think people see intelligence as a sign of weakness. That's what I think. But
I mean, comparing to the regress, I would like if they ever, the best regress was the Incredible Hulk because I like that bodybuilding version of him, and then I see this new one, and I was like, did he?
Well,
eat
I
some
mean,
chocolate?
back then in 2008, of course that's gonna be the model that you go with. But I mean, technology progressed. Even his regular Hulk body that he had from Avengers on until now, he was still built. He was still cut.
I actually think if they want to tie up the Hulk storyline, the best way to do it moving forward, if we ever got like a Hulk movie or something along that lines, is to actually have Bruce Banner and the Hulk fight again for the personality, something we can see on screen, not something that happens off screen, because that was something that made a lot of people mad between Infinity War and Endgame. And have it so there is sort of maybe an actual separation of Hulk and Banner, not just like mentally, but physically, because they did that in the comics before. They did separate the two of them. They could do a storyline like that, and that would allow them to both have their own character development without regressing the Hulk storyline too much.
DJ, did you ever see the Thor and Hulk crossover movie that was animated?
No, I saw the one from the 80s where it was live action. But
No, it wasn't live action. It was animated. It was like a short where they would have Loki and Thor, and Loki did some master plan where he separated the Hulk from Bruce Banner, kind of like the Sorcerer Supreme did in the past of Endgame, except for it was they instead of a ghost or after image or whatever,
Yeah.
it's actually flesh.
Wait! I did see that. I did see that movie. That was one where he went to Asgard and they had to hunt him like he was a troll or something. Was that one? Yeah. Okay, so I did see that one.
And when I think about that movie particularly, I kind of like am upset with the Thor/Hulk fight scene in Avengers, where he was grabbing the hammer, and I distinctly remember in that movie, the animated one, he picked it up with his brute strength.
Wow.
He wasn't chosen; he just picked it up,
Right,
and threw it at him, and Thor was shocked. And I was hoping that was going to be the case, and I was so disappointed that he didn't do it. But I kind of would have liked that to happen, because not everyone's chosen, but he can. The amount of strength that he has, he could pull it up.
Yeah, that would be cool. So before we go, does everybody want to hear a spoiler from the Spider-Man re-release that came out?
Sure. I know Pagey does because he was in the film. I heard.
Well, they re-released the quote unquote more fun version,
more fun stuff,
and they actually fixed something that was a big question after No Way Home that a lot of people had, and that was the details of how the spell worked.
Yeah.
Did you read this already?
I've seen some clips of it. Isn't it basically like he's just not there? Or
so basically we thought the spell just erased the fact that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. But it seems that the spell is actually more powerful than that. It erased Peter Parker from everything. Like it was almost like rewriting history. So there's no video footage of him, there's no paperwork with his name on it. All of that is gone. So the spell just didn't make people forget. It literally rewrote his history as Peter Parker.
Yeah, but I'm guessing they purposely avoided the whole debacle of if they had any footage of him fighting with the Avengers, which I'm sure they wouldn't anyway.
Right.
The Avengers still remember, it's just a kid in a suit.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious because he recorded the whole Civil War thing. If you remember, and he had the shield. So if someone was recording that, would the shield be floating?
No, it would still be him in the Spider-Man suit. The world just doesn't remember Peter.
Right. That's what I'm assuming is that Peter Parker's
Spider-Man.
connection to him in any way has been completely erased. So people don't know
they
that
just
Peter
know
Parker is
Spider-Man exists, and then they will get to know a Peter Parker. They just won't remember him, which kind of. It's weird, but
if you think about it, that really screws up Iron Man's storyline a lot because he was very close to Peter Parker. So would that change the events of like Infinity War and Endgame? Like I feel like that would make it would cause a big problem, especially when like going after Ebony Maw, because
doesn't Peter Parker remember exactly what happened because he was trying to tell MJ at the end.
Peter remembers, but the way I would think about it, Eric, is the whole thing on Tony possibly ran into Spider-Man. He tracked him down on the street one day. Possibly tracked him down on the street. Started talking to him. Peter, in his mind, refuses to take off the mask or anything like that. He just gave everything that happened. It happened to Tony and Spider-Man. Instead of Tony,
I'm just wondering how he was able to keep his identity secret. Is all I'm saying. Like,
he does it in the comics and most cartoons very well.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how that would look in the MCU.
I would love to just see a reenactment of all of these times. That would be great. Oh, and then they another scene, the extended scene between all of them on the scaffolding.
The bigger question is, how did Happy know Aunt May?
Yeah, that's a good question. These are all plot holes that we're never going to
get. Information left out purposely.
Yeah. Flash Freak, that's what I was just talking about. The post-credit scene explains that his identity as Peter Parker has literally been erased from history. Like it wasn't just a memory wipe, even though that's what they called it. It's like
Social security number is gone.
yeah, basically. So the only real big plot hole is that means that any event that would require Happy to know who Aunt May was seems like a plot hole. But I don't know. Honestly.
Yep. So
Or
guys,
losing their way out,
yeah.
or leaving some sort of way back to knowing everybody later, in a small circle, not like the whole world.
Oh, do you have to wrap this up, Lance?
In about a minute, but Triple X, yes. And Teen Wolf season 6, it's these supernatural creatures called the Ghost Riders. They it's called the Wild Hunt. They come grab you. They erase any trace of you, and anybody that you have ever met, they just forget you exist. You get wiped from pictures, everything like that. But you can regain those memories if you work hard enough. But anything that happens, like the main character. The main character, Scott, the werewolf that bit him disappeared. Like, he was taken. All he remembers is going into the woods and getting bit by a werewolf. He doesn't remember who it was. So possibly you could think of the spell in No Way Home like that. You remember something, you just don't know what it is. It's like a fog in your memory.
Like there's some sort of catalyst having to be ignited for the memory to come back.
I'll also say this explains why the spell was such a big problem with the multiverse, because if it was just a memory wipe, I don't see how that would cause all of these multiverse problems, but apparently it was a much bigger deal.
Yep. But I just wanted to, because we got to wrap this up, just want to see anybody got anything that they have coming out that they want to promote real quick.
Food
Paige?
coming. We're going to get food in a minute, so that's
okay, cool. Paige, you got any videos dropping later on today?
No, me and Eric have the OnlyFans collab coming. I think it's not tomorrow, the next day. So if you're subscribed, then keep out your eyes out for that, I guess.
Oh gosh.
Well, we have the 251st episode of the After Party, coming up this weekend. Stargirl Wednesday, She-Hulk Thursday. I'm going to have my regular reviews back out for those, Let's just hope that this week of She-Hulk has no controversy. We can hope. I'm not getting my hopes up, but
no, not either.
I've heard leaks. Literally, Hulk Doodle. Get ready.
Oh no!
I'm just hoping that she doesn't forget that somebody just tried to stab her in the neck with a needle. Are we under the impression that those weapons did come from Asgard, right?
Yeah. They were construction tools from Asgard, which makes sense with the Wrecking Crew.
Okay, so I hope we see more from her. Well, we see more from them, and we see more from her concerning that. That seems like that should be a top priority for her right now. It seems like the Emil Blonsky stuff is over and done with. Him and his 7 wives. It seems like that's over and done with. Would anybody else agree? I don't think we're going to see Abomination anymore.
I've heard he's going to be back before the end of the season, but I don't know what.
They have promotional pictures of him, so I think he's going to be back because of promotional.
I actually think he's going to have to help She-Hulk. I think something's going to happen, and he's going to have to help her.
And he's going. What my hunch is, he's going to tie into Thunderbolts.
Probably, yeah.
Because that's the
only. What if She-Hulk is going to be on the Thunderbolts? That would be interesting.
That and also all these new characters like Black Widow, U.S. Agent, stuff like that. I think are going to be on the Thunderbolt team.
Oh, another thing that I wanted to mention: She-Hulk. The writers are they're shining a light on how clickbait news starts, because it's like the news reporter, when the one person heard the guy asked the question is it true that you were denied from the Avengers or whatever, and then the lady just got right on the camera breaking news. She-Hulk was denied by the Avengers. I said, wow.
He literally just shouted it out in the audience, from the crowd, and the news picked it up. Yeah.
They're shining a light on so many things that trolls do.
Yeah, it's great.
And the trolls are, you're giving them ammo. Like they're gonna keep talking about you guys, but you don't care.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I gotta get out of here. It is work day tomorrow, and it's gonna be a
Flash Freak's going to start a
heavy
YouTube channel for Arrowverse and gaming. All right.
All right. Let me know when you do it. I'll be tuning in. Don't be on the fence about it. Just jump right in and do it. That's what I did. That's what Pagey did as well. You know, his YouTube channel was for twerking before they banned all of that. So
Oh, wow.
yeah.
No, I think back then it was what would it have been back then?
The
Wasn't
Dougie?
twerking.
Were you doing the Dougie?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, teach me how to Dougie. I was not being taught how to Dougie properly, obviously. Teach me how to Dougie.
I don't know why my YouTube page like pulled up a extremely old video from Pagey from like 5 years ago. It's like, wow.
You must rewatch it all the time or something.
Yeah.
Nah.
You must rewatch it all the time. No, Eric does.
Yeah.
Loves it. He loves the sad memory line, as they say.
Oh, before I go, do people want any Dragon Ball Super spoilers? Because I've been sitting on them.
No.
I've been sitting
I'm going
on
to
them.
see it tomorrow. So
Okay, I won't spoil it. Just to know, well, Eric, just keep your ears open and just remember things from all the way back in Dragon Ball. Because you know how Akira Toriyama always says, I forget anything I write. He remembered a lot. And it's like it's just amazing Easter eggs and callbacks that just hit you in the face.
Okay, well, I'll let you know.
So chat, once Eric sees it, we'll talk about it, possibly talk about it on Saturday if we have time. And yeah, because this movie, literally, I want more, and it's making me want to play a video game. But they don't release any good games anymore for it. They're all crap now. Bring back the days of Dragon Ball Z Budokai and Budokai Tenkaichi.
Oh, what was the what was that game? I think it was made by Rockstar.
Bukkake?
Was it Bukkake?
What's Bukkake?
A lot.
Oh, that's why no one can hear me. I had it on mute.
I thought you knew you had it on mute.
No, I had it on mute so I can grab your video that I made for you guys. You know, then my newest video.
Just go to Google and type in Dragon Ball Bukkake and see what you find.
Oh God!
Wait, is Krillin in it? Oh wait, that did come out in 2020, didn't it? Fuck, that felt like so long ago.
How do you spell?
Doesn't feel like that long ago.
B-U-K, I don't know, B-U-K.
Acting like you don't know how to spell it.
No, I don't know. I've only heard it said. I've never.
Oh, I don't know how to spell it.
Bukkake.
Why don't you pull it up on the screen?
Also, go to Does Lemon Party still exist on the internet? What about Mate Spin or Blue Waffle? What was the other one?
Oh God, no!
What was the other one? Mate Spin, Lemon Party, Blue Waffle.
I'm not gonna pull that up. All right. I'm not gonna pull that up.
Do you mind if I share something like 17 seconds?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, I have to get out of here though. I have food ready for me, so I have to go pick it up.
Can I have some of your food?
Yeah, it's Korean chicken. So
that sounds...
Korean chicken. Wow.
Korean chicken with it's a spicy one with rice and veggies and onion rings and
Onion rings, very Korean.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's Korean deep fried onion rings? So,
Here's your new video.
What are you waiting for?
Come join the Geek Drunk Nation.
I like that.
I took the inspiration of Crisis on Infinite Earths, having the pictures in the words.
Cool.
Kind of like
Maybe you
KD.
should take the inspiration from Dragon Ball Bukkake.
All right. We're gonna get out of here, guys. We're gonna let Eric go get his food and Paige go watch Dragon Ball Bukkake.
Already have. Second time today.
Well, Eric, you have a good night. 3 dollars, you have a good night. Paige, you have a good morning. Don't wear yourself out.
Oh, don't worry. It'll be a good morning. It'll
Oh
be a good-
no.
All right, guys. I see everybody Saturday, then see you next Monday. I'll have videos out. Let me go before YouTube finds out what Bukkake is. All right. They are hilarious.